Brothers and sisters, he's calling, he's seeking us. And inside of each of our hearts, there's a longing for him. If you know the love of Christ, which surpasses all knowledge, then you will be filled with the fullness of God. Whoa! Wild, man. Brothers and sisters, Paz y Bien, Father Malachy coming to you from Nicaragua. I'm just gonna stop for a moment. Hope you can hear some of these jungle noises around me right now. Yeah, there's all kinds of cool animals, birds, monkeys, etc. Down here right now in a little place called Las Nubes, and wanted to ask you a question actually to start off. And that question is, what are you looking for? Seriously, what are you looking for? I want you to hold on to that question for a minute here. Coming right back around to it. But I was reading the other day in Ephesians a prayer that Paul writes, and it's a beautiful prayer where he's on his knees praying to the Father for blessings for the church there. And then at the end, he says something that just grabbed my attention. And he says this, he says, praying this prayer so that they would know the love of Christ, which surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Whoa, the fullness of God, like all of God? Seriously? Creator of all of this amazing like jungle that I'm in right now here? Beautiful. And how is that possible? You got to know the love of Christ. So what the heck does that mean? Knowing the love of Christ, knowing Jesus Christ, what does that mean? You know, I've been so passionate throughout my life since I met the Lord of wanting others to know him too. And that question is like alive inside of me. How is it that we actually know him? Have you met him? Do you know him? How would you answer that question, right? And the thing is if we want to get to the reality of who Jesus is, there's only one place to go as the first stop on the journey, and that's the Gospels. See, we've got 4 beautiful portraits of this man who is no mere man, but God made flesh among us. And these 4 portraits, the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, tell us about who he is. And you know, today there's a lot of different ideas that could be floating around, but we want to get to the reality. We want to get to the truth, because if we know the love of Christ, guess what? We're going to be filled with the fullness of God. And so, brothers and sisters, that's what we want to get into. And I wanted to share with you just a brief scene from one of those Gospels, the Gospel of Luke. At the very beginning, Jesus has been born, and his parents take him to the temple to present him. And it talks about 2 people who meet Jesus, who know the love of Christ. It says here, now there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon. And this man was righteous and devout, looking for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Spirit was upon him. Sends him to the temple. He meets the infant Jesus, takes him in his hands and starts blessing the Lord. And he says, Lord, now you can let your servant go in peace. My eyes have seen the salvation of Israel. My eyes have seen, I've known the love of Christ, and I'm being filled with this fullness of God. And it says that he was somebody who is looking for the consolation of Israel. Later, we're going to find Anna the prophetess having a similar encounter with the infant Jesus in the temple. And guess what? It says that after she meets him, she starts telling everybody about it. And she says that she's going to speak of him to all who are looking for the redemption of Jerusalem. When I was a kid, my dad would take me and my brothers to this awesome island, Cumberland Island, off the coast of Georgia. And one of the things we would do while we were there was we'd go looking for shark teeth, right? And I have one brother who, he's in the Army now, love him to death, Mitchell, amazing man, great father, husband. And when we were kids, he's the guy who had the eye for shark teeth. Like, I'd be out there and you've got like thousands of shells, right? And there's these places where in the high tide things get washed up, but in low tide you can go in there and start looking for shark teeth. And we'd be going, and I'd be walking along, and I'd spend like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour. Nothing. And all of a sudden in that time, Mitchell comes walking back with a handful of shark teeth. What the heck, man? How'd you find all those shark teeth? They're right there, you didn't see them? And I was thinking about this, I'm like, man, like what was I doing? What was I looking for? Something about my brother, he had an eye. He had an eye to see the thing that we were all looking for. And when I think about that, I think about the gift of faith. I also think about like, where is my heart oriented towards? What am I looking for? That question at the beginning, what are you looking for? It wasn't like the shark teeth weren't there. And it wasn't like they couldn't be found. It was that somehow I wasn't able to see them, you know, and because Simeon and because Anna were looking for the coming of the Lord, their eyes were open. When he came, when he showed up, they saw him and they rejoiced and they were filled with the fullness of God. Brothers and sisters, that's what he wants for you, to share in his fullness, the fullness of his love, the fullness of his life, the fullness of his freedom. So I ask you again, what are you looking for? Throw up your answer there in the comments. Brothers and sisters, he's calling, he's seeking us. And inside of each of our hearts, there's a longing for him. If you know the love of Christ, which surpasses all knowledge, then you will be filled with the fullness of God. Whoa! Wild, man.